What's going on, gamers? Clyde here with another video, and I wanted to talk about grinding to 450. I personally am at 439 right now, but there's been a lot of talk around the community where people are saying grinding to 450 is painful. We know that. Bungie's saying that the power grind is not what they expected, so they put in the recent tweet right here that it's their main topic to fix the power leveling to make it easier or to make it more enjoyable. But what they're not telling you is you kind of get crap loot. I'm going to be interviewing some guys here that are 450, and they're going to tell us the problems that they're having of being 450 and how loot kind of screws you over for putting in all this work. First, let's talk about Kepler drops. Sieve, you want to tell us about that?
Yeah, so the Kepler drops once you hit 300 and past, it won't drop higher than that.
When you're at 450 and you're doing Kepler activities, they're dropping at 300.
Correct.
So when you go to infuse those from 300 to 450, if you get a good drop, it's probably costing you a 22% loan, because how much does that cost to upgrade
easy. What is the 300 to 450? I don't have any 300s.
All right, let me look that up here.
I can tell you what it is from 200 to 450. It's 12,960 unstable cores.
12,960 unstable cores to go from 200 to
450. Yes.
Yeah. Also, I do want to point out, when you do hit 400, you're going to start deleting a lot of gear. So, you know, you might be sitting on 7, 8, 900,000, but still. I remember when I did a power level farm on my Titan, then I went to my Warlock, and then I went to my Hunter. It cost me almost 400,000 unstable cores just to get those characters up to light.
So to take a weapon from 300, which you would get from Kepler,
yeah,
to 450 costs you 11,381 unstable cores.
Wow. So that's
then do you want to hear a 10? A 10?
A 10? Yeah, let's hear a 10.
Oh, it's the same.
It's the same?
It's still 12,960.
So 12,960 is the cap. Okay. So that's a problem. But with Kepler, have you guys ran Sieve at 450? What are you getting on Sieve at 450? Those drops? Are those 300?
Same 300.
300, all tier
Kepler
5.
Drops.
Are all
only
the
300.
Are the drops from Sieve tier 5 though?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
always all tier 5.
So what's the point of you doing Sieve at 450 when you could just hit the loot cave?
There's no point.
There's no real point. The only thing that you
The
can
new
really say
exotic.
is maybe it's a little bit more fun, and you can also get better rolls of
Did he
new
just say
exotics,
fun?
which better rolls are.
Excuse me, did you just say fun in Destiny 2? That oh, watch out, Bungie might nerf it.
I guess one good thing about the Sieve is you don't have to be on Mythic to run it.
Oh,
and
so that's a good point. So if you run it on
exactly.
Fabled,
So
you
it
get tier
is
5.
easier, and you can just run whatever you want. If you're running Mythic content, you actually have to have something on that you're not
You
going
actually
to
gotta. So if you run Fabled tier Sieve, you'll get tier 5.
Correct. Well, it's
only one mode.
It's not a part of that. It's only the Sieve. You're minus what, 15, I think.
Minus 15. Yeah.
Oh, you're saying if you run Sieve, you're minus 15. If you go do the loot cave on Mythic, you kind of got to kill the. Okay. That makes
Right,
sense.
you're going to be way more under.
You're going to be way more under.
Yeah.
But in my mind, I'm just thinking loot cave, because why do Sieve? If I could just go in if I can go in the loot cave and I can put on a real quick ad clearing build, you know, bonk Titan and just throw my hammers and kill everything and get a drop every 2 minutes, and I can sit there and just keep gobbling up the loot. In my opinion, I'm going to sit there over the Sieve. But again, at least we just provided a factor in, is Sieve worth it?
However,
I
here's
do
the other
think-
thing. You got to remember the faded ciphers, because when you complete each round, you're getting faded ciphers. When
True.
you're done with Sieve, now you can go up top to the altar.
And you could buy
and
more.
you can now get even more.
True.
Oh, you could go up to the vendor and you could buy more engrams.
I think you mentioned this before too, Clyde, about being able to go up top in the Sieve and changing
Yes.
what you can roll.
Yes.
I think that would be a good change. I was
While you're
listening to
doing the
that.
Sieve, while you're playing the Sieve, you should be able to go up to the top, because that area is actually up there when you're in the Sieve. But the vendor needs to be there. So if you get a pair of boots and you don't need boots anymore, you should be able to change your class item or your gun and farm out the rolls you want. Since I'm talking about this right now too, Bungie should really learn from this with Solstice. A lot of people are saying that they forged their whole Solstice set and they're farming Caldera and K1, but they keep getting wrong pieces or too many weapons. So Bungie, why not let us pick, hey, we want the new Solstice set, and we need a Brawler helmet or we need a Grenadier helmet. Let us focus the helmets. So when we're doing these solo op runs or pinnacle op runs, we're able to get those helmets, grab those sets, and then focus the next piece, because that's what these guys are doing at 450. They're trying to target farm their loot and try and get rewarded for their playtime. We're going to start talking about some other loot. It seems like Bungie just didn't expect people to level this quickly. I know they said in the TWID that, oh, we didn't expect people to level so slow, but why did they time gate everything for Ash and Iron? Because they said in Ash and Iron, they're going to raise the power level to 550, and as soon as you hit 500, you're just spoiled with loot. Everything is tier 5 from now on. To me, that's just scummy. They should have said that. I don't know. That's how I feel. But anyways, we're going to talk about more loot here. Now, what happens when you play Trials at 450? These guys said you can lose. I think Sieve, you said you lost 3 games in a row, and then he finally got a tier 4.
Yeah.
But the first 2 games you got tier 5.
Correct.
Losing. That's good, because me I'm at 439 and I'm at 400 in Guardian rank 9. If you go on a full flawless card, all 7 wins, you can go to the Lighthouse, and I got 4 tier 5s, and I actually got a 5th one from winning on my 7th game. These guys, you could just collect all the loot you want. Now, have you gone to the Lighthouse on like a 3-win streak? Did that drop tier 5s too?
I have not.
I have gone on a 4-win streak at 450, and that only dropped tier 3s and 4s.
Okay, so that's a problem.
But 5 wins does the same exact thing. I went with 5 wins, then I lost a couple, and then won my last 2. Went to the Lighthouse, and it dropped me all tier 3s, and I think I got a tier 2 as well.
Yeah, see, so again, that probably won't happen in Ash and Iron, but that's just crummy for the people that put in the work, grinded to 450. They should have been rewarded for that. There's nothing we can do about this situation, but we're addressing the topic. So Trials is a good place for everybody to level. We know that. You get rewarded. You just go in, you either win or you lose. And even people right now, they're using Trials to level right now. So Trials is a good spot. But again, the loot problem's there, just like Kepler. So now let's talk about your sets, your tech sets, your Bushidos, all the other armor sets. So you guys have no way of farming those tier 5s, correct? It just has to be a prime.
Has to be a prime.
Has to be a prime.
You know, if I could go back in time and know what I know now, I would have rotated between all 3 of my characters more evenly.
Yep.
That way I had a chance at getting tier 5 Bushido from a Hunter Bow build that I like.
Yeah.
You know, and now I have to run 30, 40, 50 runs in order to finally get one Bushido piece, which I did today, but that took 4 days.
I got this prime today. I got really bad primes today. I got 2 energies and 2 heavies, both dupes, but I got this tier 5 tech sec boot. And again, right now, most players are just going, oh, it's 441, but I got my other piece of armor is 439, but this is what I use for my build. So I'm just going to infuse. This is the only chance of me getting a tier 5 tech sec boot. And I didn't know that because Bungie didn't tell me. So when you grind all the way to 450, that was my mentality. I'll get better loot later. I'll get it later. With this theory, yes, in Ash and Iron, when you hit 500, anytime tech sec drops or Bushido, it's going to be tier 5. But they didn't tell us that. And to me, that's just, it shouldn't be that way, because in my opinion, when you're like, man, I just hit 450, it's time to get spoiled. It's not that at all. And this is not even a good piece. I literally got a specialist with super class and weapons. It's not going to fit any of my builds, but again, I'm just holding on to it. And I started with these guys telling me this information today. Any tier 5 loot that I got, I made sure that if it was bad, I got rid of it. But if it was decent, I got to keep it until I can get better.
Pretty much at this point, Clyde, I have to rely on getting a perfectly rolled 75, or if I just want to settle, 74 piece of those armors. So I can't even maximize my tier 4s. I can't even maximize my build
because like you don't have the tuning stat.
Exactly.
So how would you guys go farm a tier 5 mint retrograde right now? You can't.
Would hope and pray to RNGesus.
You have to get it as a prime. Some people might not know this, but your Grandmaster Conquest, you're supposed to save these for when you're 447. The Whisper and the Deep. The reason why is that these are guaranteed to drop primes. So if you're 447, you do them, you're going to get 450 drops. I've been told by multiple people that are 450, you're pretty much guaranteed kinetics, energies, and heavies from this. You will get all 3 weapons at 450. Now, if one of those weapons are a mint retrograde, you can definitely get one to drop. But also, I'm hearing from the loop, they're getting tier 5 mints, but they're not getting them with rewind elemental honing. Is Waitgate in the room with us? I don't really know.
I don't know, Clyde. I have a tier 5 with rewind elemental honing.
Yeah.
I got a crappy roll on mine for.
I've heard a
when I
lot
did
of
that.
people saying they're getting crappy rolled tier 5s. Again, I'm not saying that it's back, but when you get 6 perks on a weapon and that's the worst perks you could possibly ask for, and you consistently see it, it's definitely in the room with. So far, these guys can pretty much just farm Kepler and Crucible. That's it. So if you play normal Crucible, it's tier 5s, right? Every game?
Yes.
All right. And
I'm not okay. It is. So competitive is kind of weird though.
competitive's weird.
Yeah. So I think that's based on how high on the
Like board you did, like performance.
yeah, that and how high your score is overall. Like
You're
When
like
it comes to
comp level.
PvP.
Yeah, when it comes to
to
PvP.
it's one of those things.
yeah,
right?
like division. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
How high in the division you are.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna
Because-
sit up here and act like I'm some godly player, right? You know, I'm not. I'm average to above average, right?
Mhm.
But
So I'm gold 3 and I'm only getting tier 4s right now, even with wins.
And you're
I'm platinum, right? And I'm getting tier 5s.
Okay, so you're higher
Max
than me.
Crucible rank and platinum, and I'm getting tier 5s.
okay. Things to point out. They hit 450. They thought they were going to get spoiled. And then all of a sudden it's, hey, guess what? You got to grind your comp score up. You got to do more. You got to keep doing more stuff that you really weren't presented off the bat. We all just thought get to 450 and it's game time. So these guys put in all that work. They grinded the mines. They grinded all Caldera and K1 and Pinnacles and Encore. And it's kind of just, it brings me back to that topic. Your time is not valued in the game. And this is a big topic right now in the game. People are like, my time is not valued for grinding. There's no reason to go to 450. And that's kind of what this video is for. I'm sitting here telling you, listen to these guys. There's no reason for you to sit here and grind all night to 450. You should wait because they're going to make the grind easier in next month and you're going to get rewarded more. So what was Bungie thinking with implementing these changes and just screwing people over? These guys just got their drops fixed. There was like what? The people that were 450 a couple weeks ago, all their bugs, all their drops were bugged and it just got fixed. And now we want to talk about the primes. We don't know for sure. We don't know what's going on with the primes, but they both said to me that, Clyde, when I hit 450, it seems like the primes don't drop as much. And that's what we were just talking about, you know, before we started today. And, you know, they're going to kind of explain it. So like, what did you guys see with the primes?
So on the way to 450, I would say on average, I was getting the prime anywhere from every 8 to maybe 15 runs. Now I'm at a point where I have literally gone 3 days, and I'm talking like playing 8 hours a day of getting no primes. And then I finally got a prime. But the only times that I have received a prime at 450 is when I have set the difficulty higher than my current light. Now, I don't know if there's anything to that, but before me doing that, if I'm 450 running a 450 activity or lower, didn't get them. But now that I'm starting to raise the activity
460, 470, yeah.
I'm starting to see them pop up again. And that's the other problem when you talk about hitting 450. Where's the end game? Now I'm 450. I did all this grinding, but it's like,
yeah.
So what do I do now? Grind more? Like do the same
Well, I
thing?
think what
Like
they're going to do, I think what they're going to do in Ash and Iron, they're going to give us new feats. They said they're going to do new feats for the Epic Raid, but I think they're going to add some different modifiers from going from 450. Because ultimate mode is, I don't know if anyone's been playing, but Grandmaster's a joke. I literally one-shot every champion. I don't stun them. So ultimate mode isn't going to be anything crazy. It's just another tier for you to grind to 550. But again, it's what Easy just said, the end game. It's just not there. Your infinite loop is done. When you achieve the highest power level, you're just like, I'm done. And that's not a good loop to have in the game. But C's here, you said you ran what, 25?
Yeah, so
Star-Cross.
for me, any activity I run, it's basically, mine hasn't really changed. I just run it at 450 or 460, a little bit under. And I mean, it's still pretty bad. It's within 25 runs. I've never had anything above 25 runs. But
yeah. So there is some talk going around right now where people are saying, oh, if you put a full set on of gear, like 3 featured weapons and a full set, that you have better runs. I don't believe this. I think people just get better luck. I did get a prime and 13 drops using this strat, but I also didn't get one for 4 hours doing this strat. So again, because you're on a hot streak, it doesn't mean anything. But back to these guys, when they're 450, they notice primes. It's not that they're dropping less or they're dropping more. It's something happened, and that's the thing. So not only are they praying for like a mint to drop because they're like, I just want a tier 5 mint, or I just want a tier 5 tech sec, or I want a tier 5 Bushido. They're just waiting for these primes to drop, and it encourages them to just be like, why not just go to the loot cave and say screw that? Because let's be honest, these armor sets aren't really nothing crazy. But why not just go to the loot cave and just farm all the tier 5s you want, or farm unstable cores there if you need to, and do whatever. But then again, I just feel like the loop for 450, just it doesn't seem like there's an end game. And I know that's what they're bringing in at Ash and Iron, but will it be worth it? We're gonna wrap this up, but like, what changes do you think should have been made? Like, what grind do you think should be on your guys' terms right now? Like, how should you be rewarded for being 450? Like, what would you like to see in the grind to where it would make it so that you can collect all the stuff you need?
Clyde, I want to bring up one thing before I go into that, and that's vault space leading up to and at 450.
Yeah, it's
the
tough.
Problem is you are jam packed. I mean, I'm thinking I spend maybe 3 hours a day just doing vault management because I'm trying to get better pieces to make myself more powerful.
Yeah.
But then I have to sit here on dim or whatever item manager you use, or D2 armor picker. I'm trying to put these sets together, but it just takes up so much space in my vault that I'm forced to make tough decisions. Do I start deleting different weapons?
Well, it's the class items. It's the class items doing that to us too.
Right. And we need some sort of consolidated way to manage the system. If I have 6 specialist pieces of tier 5 gear, right? And I've collected those and they all have different tuning slots, why can't Bungie make it to a way where they just all combine into one piece? And since I've collected all of them, then now I can just change that tuning slot.
Yeah, I don't like the
crafted armor.
Yeah, that's crafted armor. But that's another thing I don't like about the system is I have a piece right here right now where it's specialist and it has weapon focusing. And for people that don't know what that means, the 3 dots next to the weapons right here, that means you could focus weapons. When I masterwork this, I could just pull health away. So I could just go like this, boom, call it a day. Now I'm at -5 health because I haven't even like masterworked this piece yet. But that's where the RNG comes into play. So not only are you grinding for specialist or brawler, so these guys are fighting to get a perfect specialist role, but then it could be the wrong tuning. And you're probably like, well, Clyde, the tuning doesn't matter. Yes, it does. 4 pieces of the right tuning is another 20 to your stats. So if you need 20 more melee, you could get melee focus gauntlets, chest, boots, class items, and get your 20 that way. That's why their vault space is, I mean, I totally agree with that. As soon as you mentioned the vault space, like before I started grinding today, I made sure that I had 20 spots and now I only have 15 left. So I'm micromanaging my vault too. And we know what's going to happen when Ash and Iron comes out. They're going to tease us. We're going to get to 500. We're going to get spoiled with tier 5 loot. When Renegades comes out, they're going to give us more vault space like they said, but all the grind that we did now is going to make no sense because they're going to give us better armor sets. They're going to give us better stuff. Good point.
Exactly. And that kind of feels like invalidating your time.
Invalid, yeah.
I mean, let's think about what just happened with, what was it, Right of the Dying? What is anyone doing with any of that gear right now?
Well, yeah,
absolutely nothing.
Yeah, those weapons got power crept very hard.
Yeah, what is going to happen with all of our other weapons? Are we just going to gradually delete them all?
Well, I mean,
already deleted all my artifice gear.
If you have a year-tied Apex on and a mint retrograde, you don't need any other weapon in the game.
Right.
The only time you need to switch guns is when you go into the raid or mythic content and you put on an outbreak. I just released a video on that. The meta is very stale. And, but by the way, I just want to point out that Bungie making these new weapons, they're amazing. Like mint, I thought mint retrograde when they showed it in the trailer, I'm like, it's a pulse rifle rocket sidearm. But the first day I shot this thing that I got it, I'm like, I'm bringing this into the raid. It's broken, and it was crazy. But yeah, let's get back to that topic of like, what would you guys want to see in the better loot system? Which I do want to point out, everything they're probably getting ready to say is going to happen when you hit 500 power in Ash and Iron. But I think time gating what players want till then is just another way to boost players to return to the game and play Ash and Iron.
I mean, I personally would like to feel like I can play with friends because, on the grind up to 450, I really, I tell my homeboy all the time, I'm like, man, I love to play the game with you. It's more efficient for me to grind on my own. And now that I am 450, right, it still feels not worth it to do a fire team op, right?
This just happened to me and Sieve. He joined on me and we had to jack up the multipliers.
Right.
Well, that was too high, I believe.
Yeah.
Is that I did it with another team, and I don't know, they were both B plus, but we were running on 450 and they were still getting loot. But we were running on like 470.
Yeah, when me and you played.
The problem is that the scoring also is just completely jacked. I mean, you have to kill every single enemy. And you know, for me, it doesn't really matter. I'm 450, right?
You're talking about in fire team ops, though.
But yeah,
fire team ops
are trash. Stay out of that playlist. It's terrible. If you kill every single enemy and in a time fashion, there's some runs you don't get the bonus, which is crazy.
Yeah, it's fire team ops is.
So that makes a good point. So your first point is when you're 450. Reward you for playing with others. All right, well,
it's great for
up
playing
the drops
the lower
in
level
every
people.
activity.
Up the drops in every activity. So be rewarded.
Yeah, I think Pinnacle should be at least 6 drops. I think fire team
maybe 4. Maybe 4.
Let's go with Pinnacle is the longest. It takes the longest. So I think that should be 6, and then fire team 4.
So when you hit 450 or when you hit a certain tier in the game, you should get rewarded more. Yeah, because you're giving.
But I think that should be across the board. More drops for every activity because of the time you're spending in it.
They did address that in the TWID, though. They did say that they're going to add more drops and make power progression better.
See, that's the thing also. You know, not everyone takes a long time to run Pinnacle Ops. You know, I can get through it in 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah. I was going to say I can run them.
So it's like, it's hard to say that you should get 6 drops because I can almost run that in the same amount of time I run a solo bot.
But
6 is a little much.
Yeah, but
maybe 4 for fire team and.
No, but I agree though. Like I can open this right now, and you know, let's just say an encore, right? I think encore is great, but a lot of teams will struggle doing this in 15 minutes. You will, and if you don't have a Thunder Crash or someone optimizing final boss, you might not one phase. So let's just go to Starcross. Starcross is a very known mission right now that everybody's farming because you can get this done. I've had a 7-minute run in this before. You can cook. The average team, the average Andy on LFG, or maybe you're just playing casually with your friends, you're probably sitting around 12 to 14 minutes. So you're getting 2 completion rewards in 12 to 14 minutes. Guess what I'm thinking in my head? Why am I playing this? I can just go do K1 in 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and I can get a drop. So the drops per hour are not making sense to play with your friend. So people are just going back to solo. The only benefit I get of running Starcrossed is I have a chance at mint to drop. But yes, I agree with C's here to where you need more completion rewards and you need more incentive to grind. Now, let's just say they bump this to 3 completion rewards right now. Just snap the finger. But if you're 450 or higher, you get an extra one. That's what C's was trying to say there. You should be rewarded and get more drops for putting in the work. And I totally agree with that.
And for the tier 5s, I don't think that they should change much. Maybe take it down a little bit because we are getting Ashen Iron, and at 500 they did say tier 5s were going to be guaranteed. We'll see if that happens, but they could lower it a little bit once you hit 450, but it doesn't have to be guaranteed. Maybe out of 5 runs instead of the same thing, 25.
Oh,
at least for me.
Yeah, so you're saying
out of 5 runs, it doesn't have to be guaranteed because you're still not at that level where you're gonna get guaranteed. That's coming, but I still want to get more than I'm getting right now out of PvE because that's what I like doing.
You want to be rewarded for your time. That makes total sense. I was just thinking about that and an idea came to my head. Going from 500 to 550, you could just be rewarded for that. Like, hey, once you hit 500, you're going to start getting the tier 5s to drop. Your grind from 500 to 550, let's just say every 10 runs, you're guaranteed a dupe protection. Like you're guaranteed a prime every 10 runs. I think the community would be happy with that instead of this RNG.
Clyde, you brought up being able to focus a certain thing earlier. You know, why don't we have a system in place where we run an activity so many times that you collect, and I know everyone's not wild about a currency.
Oh, here
something
we go.
that you can build up over time.
I know where he's going with this.
And then open that chest at the end and say, hey, I want that piece of gear right there. Based on my light level, this is a tier that I can earn from it.
See, what I did was I thought of the Diablo crafting table. I thought of, if I'm sitting here breaking down tier 5s, I get tier 5 crystals. If I break down tier 4s, I could do tier 4 crystals. I thought about this. I don't know if it's a good idea. We'll see what the people say in the comments, but being able to go to the tower and craft tier 5 gear, tier 4 gear. I don't think you should be able to craft tier 3. You have to set a standard. But being able to craft tier 4 and tier 5 gear and just roll glass needles like we used to have in D1, you're RNG. Saying, hey, I want a specialist with class weapons and grenade focus, but you craft tier 5 after using so many crystals and so many unstable cores, and you get melee focus. Guess what you do? You break it down and you start again. You gamba. I think that does add some grind into the game, but also we would just find ways to just craft more gear and then end all be all. But it is something good, something to be able to target focus, like BZ said, at the end of the activity, so that you're just, you know what you're grinding for. When you're grinding Destiny, you know exactly what you're playing for, not just, oh boy, can't wait to get a third prime in a row of a heavy weapon.
I think something along the lines of like the drops as well. I think they could do something like it guarantees maybe one of the slots that's the lowest that your prime is going to drop next, instead of how it is now where you can get the same drop. So like if you do get that heavy, you can't get it again, it's going to drop somewhere else.
You're saying you can't get back-to-back dupes. Dupe protection.
Right.
No, that happened to me
maybe
twice
dropping
today.
the lowest.
That happened to me today. I got a heavy. My heavy dropped. I think I still have it on me. Yeah, it was this was it right here. So it wasn't this weapon, but it was a 439 heavy, and then the next prime it dropped 440. It dropped 441. So it only, because I was 438, so it only gave me a +2, and that stuck me at that power level because I needed it to be +3 in a slot that I needed +3 to go to the next power level. I got 2 energy weapons back to back, and it happened to me again, and I'm like, oh my god. And then I finally got a pair of boots to take me to the next level. But what you guys don't realize is I went up 2 power levels in the day when it should have been 5 or 4. We'll just say it's 4. But yeah, like getting a prime to drop in a heavy, it shouldn't drop a prime next, because there was actually people in chat that told me they got 3 energy weapons back to back to back.
Yeah.
And then it gets better. They went and ran the Grandmaster Conquest after that because they got so triggered. They're like, I'm not waiting anymore for 447. I'm just gonna go run it. That dropped 2 energy weapons, so they got 5 total. Yeah, no. Stuff like that is very irritating. So now let's talk about the raid. We do know that the epic raid is going to be launching in Ash and Iron, and it's going to be launching as a new raid pretty much, with an additional encounter, new feats, new loot, and it seems like that's when you're going to be able to achieve the tier 5 stuff. But at what cost? Are you going to have to do a lot of feats, which kind of a pain for people to do? I feel like you shouldn't have to make the artificial difficulty so high just to get it. But as of right now, as the raid sits, even if you do it all 5 feet raid, you are only guaranteed tier 3s with a chance at tier 4s. These guys are 450. Are you guys raiding? Are you grinding the raid, or are you just waiting?
Just waiting.
Waiting. There's 0 point to run the raid.
0 point to run the raid. New activity that's supposed to be hyping people up to play it, and there's no reason to run it because these guys are spoiled with tier 5 drops. And if you're not spoiling them anymore, it's not worth their time, because they know on their way to 450, they know they saw the tier 2s, the tier 3s. And in my opinion, a weapon that's tier 3 to tier 5, you're not really going to see a huge difference. But armor, that tier 5 raid set with that 4-piece juicy set, being able to extend radiant and restoration and suspend, we want that, but we also want it to be a tier 5 set. So again, not being able to get that, there's no reason for these guys to raid, so they're just waiting, because it's kind of depressing when you see a tier 2 drop. Am I right?
Yes.
Pretty much your guys' final thoughts is you just want your time to be rewarded, and you want to be able to get the loot that you might have missed on your way to 450, correct?
Correct.
Yes, absolutely.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Well, gamers, I just wanted to do this yap session with these guys because this is just stuff that we've noticed on the 450 grind, and I'm sure other players have posted their thoughts on the grind. I'm almost there, but man, it just seems like we have to wait until Ash and Iron for the good stuff to come out, and yeah. So don't stress. Don't worry about racing to 450. Bungie's going to make it easy. Take your time, but just be warned that there is these issues when you get there. So hopefully Bungie throws a fix. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.